What's going on, YouTube fam, and welcome back to another video. And today we are going to be talking about if residency in Latin America is right for you. Now, what do I mean by that? I don't mean if it's right for you specifically, because everybody's situation is different. But this is going to be, how can I say, like a guide to give you some information so you can decide if it's right for you or not. So we're going to break down what types of people are looking for residency and what types of ways it can benefit you. And there you can kind of take those clues and figure out if it's something you want to pursue or not. So let's get into it. So what are the type of people that are looking for residency? Well, a person that's looking to stay long-term in a country or permanently relocate, a person that's looking to stay temporarily in a particular country and maybe a few months out of the year or however long. And, they don't want the hassle of having a visa, and, going through all the immigration stuff. Another person who just wants a backup. There's some people who get residencies, but they don't really go there. They may visit the country once or twice, but it's just a backup plan, in case anything, happens, right? So those are the main people that are looking for residency. Or if you are offered a job and, well, that kind of goes under living there, right? But if you're offered a job, and even if it's temporary, and you said, okay, well, I can get this kind of job, or I can get help with my residency, then that's another type of demographic that benefit from that. So residency is great. Now, this can apply to any country in the world, but we'll speak here in Latin America, because as you know, many countries in Latin America, it's quite practical to get your residency. It's not super hard. The requirements are quite straightforward, and it's not like, maybe some other countries where they make you, jump through fire and, just do all kinds of things to get your residency card. And why Latin America? So if you think about it, it's attractive to different people for different reasons. Now, one could be the low cost of living. One could be the climate. Most of Latin America has a warm climate, even though there are some regions that do get cold. The culture, the food, a mix of things. Everybody has their own preferences. So in this way, it just depends on what you want out of it, right? So if you just want to have a temporary residency or a permanent residency in a place that's warm, has nice beaches, well, there's a lot of those places in Latin America. It really depends on what you're looking for, right? So if any of those apply to you, then it may be worth it. Now, if you, let's say, for example, now I don't know every country's requirements, but I'll give you here in Mexico, for example. So here in Mexico, they have different visas available. There's a visa where you invest and you get your residency. There's a visa where you prove that you have a certain amount in the bank and you get your residency. There's also a residency when you're offered a job. And then you have this, what they call the RNE, which means the regularization, the national regularization of foreigners. That's how I got my residency. And basically how that worked is that you had to have multiple entries into Mexico since 2017. And the first time I ever came here was 2018. And I came multiple times on a tourist visa. So I had to purposely overstay my visa to qualify for it. And all I did is I went to the immigration office and I showed them my passport that was expired. They gave me the paperwork. I went to the bank and I paid, the fees rather before my interview with immigration. And it was 1, 2, 3. They asked me some questions, came back, did this and that, got my residency card, good to go. And with that, I was able to open a bank account, be more established in the country, and even open up a line of credit with my bank. So it is an advantage, especially if you want to live in a place long-term or short-term. So I would say, like, let's say, for example, you want to go to, we'll use Panama, for example. So Panama is very attractive to you. You can get the permanent residency, or not necessarily permanent, but any kind of residency that however you want to start. And maybe you want to live in Panama for 6 months of the year, and then 6 months wherever your home country is. And, it all depends. Now, I would say this is more practical for anyone, most practical for people who are from North America. So if you're anywhere in the Caribbean, other parts of Latin America, Canada, United States, and you want to stay kind of fairly close to your home country, this is ideal as well, especially if you do like the culture and you do like Latin America. I mean, it wouldn't be so bad from Europe or Asia, but it just makes the travel time a lot longer. And depending how much you want to go back and forth, but it's all depending on your personal preference. But if you're from North America, it'll be more ideal because nothing is too far away from each other, and even in South America as well, it's not super far. So let's say Panama, and then you want to do that. So then you pay, you go through the process, you get your residency card, and then you can choose how long out of the year you want to stay. Now, different countries have different requirements depending depending on which one you go to. So let's say if you want to go to Uruguay, well, I'm not exactly sure, but if Uruguay is your desired destination, or Colombia or Peru, just look it up on the internet. Just resident requirements for Peru, residency requirements for Honduras, for Dominican Republic, and you will find all kinds of articles giving you all the information and even links to the government site, so you can see exactly from the horse's mouth what the requirements are, and that's always the best way. So getting residency can be a great thing in general. Now, if you're just a person who only comes a couple of times a year to any particular country, you just spend like maybe a month here, or a couple weeks here, a couple days here and there, then residency wouldn't really make sense because you're not really actively pursuing to be established in the country. But if you have another motive where you want to live full time, where you want to have a backup residency, where you want to live part time, if you're following those lines, then a residency makes sense because that'll be your advantage, especially if you're traveling multiple times per year in any particular country. That's also great because you won't have to worry about a visa expiring. Like for me, for example, whenever I leave Mexico and come back, it's pretty straightforward. I'm not going through the whole thing asking how many days you're going to stay and all of these things. There's like a couple of questions and boom, that's it. That's like, where do you live? What part of town? I tell them, or something like that. Some of them don't even ask me anything. They'll just stamp the passport, bienvenidos, and that's it. So it's a lot easier. You slide through the immigration way a lot easier. You don't have to, feel like you're, like they ask you regular questions whenever you're coming. You don't have to worry about that. So that's less on that part. And, because they're going to see that, okay, this person has a right to be here. They did the process. They have a residency. They are by law a resident of this country. So it works out great, too, if you're traveling. Let's say Colombia, you have business there, or you just like going there. And let's say you're going like 6 times a year and you're spending like 3 weeks or 2. A residency card would be good for that as well because, like I said, it's the less hassle. So if you're doing it multiple times in here in any particular country and spending a month here or a few weeks there, that's also worth it. So those are the things I think. Now, of course, it's going to be up to you which one you feel is worth it. Most of these requirements, like I said, depending on which country you want to live, it's not crazy. I mean, they have all kinds of visas. There's digital nomad visas, investors visas, all kinds of ones where you can get a residency in a country. And it just makes, life easier, especially if you're a frequent traveler. You really want to be in that country. You spend a lot of time in that country. It makes things easier for you. So I definitely recommend it. Like me, I'm living here in Mexico full time, and it's great. I'm an American citizen, but I'm a Mexican resident. So it's great because it's less hassle. I'm established in society. I'm not a citizen, but I'm a resident and, pretty much have almost the same rights, just about the same rights as citizens do. It's very equal like that here in Mexico. So those are the reasons why I think why I think residency, particularly Latin America, would be good for you. Like I said, you can apply this to any country in the world, but specifically, this is a Latin America-based channel, and I wanted to give you just a couple of ideas out there, those who are thinking about your residency, and the types of people or types of situations that would make sense for you getting your residency. So I hope you got some value from that. And in my opinion, it's worth it. It's 100% worth it. As long as they're not asking you to pay ridiculous amounts of money that just doesn't make sense, then I would say, no, it's not worth it. But overall, in general, it's definitely worth it because it does make life easier. And, who doesn't want that, right? So thank you all for tuning back in. All my new subscribers, thank you for subscribing. I know I've been away for a while, but I'm back. Just had life to sort out, and now I'm back on track to bring you all more content. So thank you all for my existing subscribers. And if you haven't subscribed yet, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, and I will talk to y'all soon. Y'all stay safe out there, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.